Is the Odyssey the last movie in the Let's Get Matt Damon Home cinematic universe? And what are our thoughts on that Doomsday trailer, which finally dropped this week? Hello, this is Systematic Geekology. We are the Priest of the Geeks, and I am one of your geekologists, Kevin Schaefer, here with Evan and Jill. How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm so good. So happy to be here and talk about this movie.
Oh, this is one I've been anticipating all year. I think even more so the discussion than, well, maybe not. Like, the movie itself was, like, my most anticipated all year, but I knew, I was going to be so excited just to do the Aftermath podcast on this. And to have the Doomsday trailer drop in the same week, this is exciting. But yeah.
Good stuff.
Evan, how are you tonight?
I'm just rocking along.
How can I, like, did you have an odyssey of yourself this week?
Yes.
Okay.
I wish I saw it for for the second time, but I haven't
Yeah.
found the time yet. Yeah.
I have seen it twice, so I'm good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. This is our What's News episode where we talk about all the latest things in geek culture, and of course tonight we're gonna be doing a spoiler discussion review of the Odyssey. Granted, I mean you've had 3,000 years to read the book, and you've had a week to see the movie, so I'm not really too worried about spoilers there. But we're also going to talk about the Avengers Doomsday trailer, which finally dropped this week after a lot of anticipation and wondering when that was going to come out. So we'll be talking about those, and we'll be talking about other geek stuff. Very excited. And if you are new to Systematic Geekology, welcome. Whether you're watching here on YouTube or you're listening to this later, hey, thank you so much for joining us. And if you click on the link in the description wherever you're watching or listening, you can find out ways to support us. You can support us on Fourth Wall and check out some cool merchandise there. And yeah, if you like this episode, check out the rest. We've got a lot of good discussions on all things geek, and we have a great team of hosts here. So check us out, and I want to give a shout out to Daniel Sigmund, one of our supporters here. Thank you so much for all you do. It really helps keeps the show going. And if you become a supporter, you get a shout out on the show as well. So definitely click on those links and like, rate, review those things. But awesome. Well, Evan and Jill, before we get into our main topics, let us get into our classic lightning round and talk about some of the other things we're geeking out on. Jill, we'll start with you.
I am geeking out over the trailer for I Play Rocky. I just saw it this week, and I'm so excited. Rocky is maybe my favorite movie of all time. I love Sylvester Stallone. I love this whole universe. This is a Peter Farrelly movie. He is awesome. And it's the same actor that played Al Pacino in The Offer, which was also a biopic about making a movie about Italian Americans. So I'm just very excited to see it. Can't wait.
He's gonna be like the go-to person. Like, oh, they need a biopic. I'm trying to think what they would do next. But it is uncanny how much he looks and sounds like Stallone. Like I almost thought, I'm like, did they do like a de-aging? Like that's how like right on point it was. But that does look really good. I mean, I know you're a huge Rocky fan. Like, I mean, I love Rocky too. But like we did our Ryan Coogler episode, and you had infinitely more knowledge about the Rocky universe than I did. So it was fascinating. But yeah. But I know that'll be a big one. So.
It's a weird obsession.
Hey, I mean, we all have, I think it's fascinating. But, and it is a fascinating franchise in terms of, like, they made all the original ones they made, then rebooting it with Creed, and, going from this, like, whoever thought that it would go from this one, underdog movie to one of the biggest franchises of all time. So yes, that one does look good. I do love how not subtle the title is, but it'll be fun though.
Right.
I was just like, I was just trying to think of like alternate title, thinking of like some kind of underdog thing, but they're like, nope, I Play Rocky. That's the movie. But
that's it.
Yeah, that'll be good.
When I saw the trailer for it, I was reminded of The Shame because I've never seen not one of the films.
Really?
I think I saw some of the first one at some point when I was a kid, and then I saw some of the Creed. But nope, I don't have any knowledge of it. Shame on the non-believer.
Well, this can be your introduction, and then
Yes,
you'll be
yes,
very
I'm-
interested and want to go
I
binge all of
planned.
it.
Bingo, bango. There you go.
And dude, the Creed movies are excellent. That's one of those, like, I mean, in terms of like legacy sequels, it's also like reboot. I mean, they're great. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't think about that.
yeah,
A legacy sequel. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool,
Sweet,
Cool.
excellent pick, Jill. Evan, what about you? What else are you kicking out on?
I'm doing the Clayface trailer that just
Yes.
that literally just dropped a couple hours ago.
Yep.
I've seen that a few times, and my first thing was I'm going to be watching it like this because that's how I watch the pig scene in the Odyssey, and that's exactly what's going on too. And I was like, oh dear Lord, I don't want to sit through this. But yeah, that, and I'm watching the neighborhood friendly Spider-Man on.
Oh, great series. Yeah.
It's fun. It's super fun. Like, I like all the little twists on the characters and stuff, and the animation is super fun. It's really cool. Yeah.
That was one series, like, when I remember when they originally announced it, they said it was going to be like the Tom Holland Spider-Man year one kind of thing, and then they pivoted and made it its own thing. But I'm actually really glad they did it because they're less tied to continuity. And I mean, Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn is fantastic. I mean, they're like, there's a lot of great voice talents in it. But yeah, I like that it's its own thing, and it's still, I mean, it can still kind of fit within the MCU, but it's also not in the same Earth. And yeah, I just like it's a great show. Yeah, I'm very excited for season 2.
Sure.
Is this on Disney
Oh,
Plus?
It is, yeah. So it dropped, I want to say like 2 years ago, maybe.
year-
Like it was,
yeah.
like year two, like around the same time as X-Men '97, and now season 2 is coming out. What is it like? Is that next month or 2 months? Something like it's coming up
It
soon.
says coming
like
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, because '97 season 2 has like a couple more episodes, and then Friendly Neighborhood comes up after that.
Perfect.
But yeah, so it's only, I mean, the only disappointing thing is that me and Christian have had this conversation multiple times of like TV today, even animation, they're like 10 episode seasons, so it flies by, and it should be longer, but it's still really good. Yeah, so I definitely recommend that one. But excellent choice. For me, so this weekend I'm going to GalaxyCon here in Raleigh and a Noah Khan concert. So I've been geeking out on like both very different things, but yeah, I mean, like I've been playing Noah Khan nonstop along with like Olivia Rodrigo and Gracie Abrams, like all the like pretty like sad music, but also pop and all that. You know, like that's kind of my jam lately.
Gracie. Yes.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams' daughter, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, mm-hmm, yep.
No way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, like that, so yeah, I got that concert on Saturday, and then I'm going to GalaxyCon Friday and Sunday, so very excited for all that. There's some really good creators that'll be there, and celebrities as well. So I'll talk more about it in the, like, post-con, on the next episode, but very excited for that, so it'll be a good weekend, but yeah.
Cool.
Very
Awesome. Well, let's get into it because I know we have some big topics to talk tonight. First, we're going to start with the much anticipated trailer for Avengers Doomsday, which finally dropped this week. Now, of course, I don't know whose marketing team thought, like, oh, let's just drop it online a week after the biggest movie of the year, like, instead of putting it in theaters. But, decisions are made, whatever, because I'm sure Nolan would have been, I mean, yeah, Disney stuff, like, especially with, Downey in it and all that, like, he would have been fine having it come with the Odyssey or something else, but anyway, it dropped on Monday, so.
I would have preferred it more than the mother, the freaking mother.
Oh, that
trailer.
other
Holy
mommy movie?
moly.
Yeah, Jill, did you see that
heck is
trailer when
that?
you saw Odyssey? That Jessica
No,
Chastain
because I
movie?
got there right as the movie
sorry,
was
okay,
starting.
got it.
You
It was
freaking dodged a bullet.
Oh, like it was like this, like a bit like this movie with Jessica Chastain where she plays like a mom, and then she has like some kind of demon clone, and so who's terrorizing her family, and it's just called The Other Mommy. But I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it looks like very typical fun October horror kind of movie, but it was a very weird one to place with the Odyssey. Yeah, other than, I mean, yeah, Jessica Chastain has worked with Nolan before in Interstellar, but still, it was just, it felt weird alongside like Dune and some of the others. But yeah, that one.
Got it.
Yeah, it made my dad jump because like I saw it with him the second time, and we saw it in IMAX, and he's not a horror guy, and so like he was like, "Oh man, that looks creepy." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know," but it was an odd one. But yeah, I think I agree. I think this one would have been better. Evan, you and I have talked about Doomsday, but Jill, I don't know if we've talked about much. So like, what like, where do you kind of stand in terms of your anticipation or lack thereof? I don't know, like for Doomsday, and your just thoughts on the trailer as well.
So I am so excited, and I'm actually mad that we keep getting these little bits dropped every couple months. Like, just give us the movie. And honestly, I don't care if this movie is 6 hours long. I'm so excited to see all of these characters, all these storylines come together. Like, thrilled. This trailer I loved. There's a super Thor heavy. And then I think I've talked about this with both of you guys before. My introduction to Marvel comics and the MCU was through my kids, and started, so many years ago when they were little kids. And Jack and I watched the trailer together. That's my almost 20-year-old. And I'm like, wait, why is Dr. Doom so strong? This doesn't make any sense. And he goes, oh no, Mom, you just didn't read those comics. Like, he's actually kills Thanos in one of the comics. Like, he's super strong. I'm like, oh, I gotta like reorient my whole brain around this Dr. Doom that like can stop Thor's hammer with 2 fingers. That's wild.
And actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that's my big concern with, like, I mean, I'm still excited for Doomsday, but like, that's my biggest concern is for the general public that isn't familiar with the character, because in the movies, he's only appeared in the 2005 Fantastic Four movies, where I thought the actor was good, but, it wasn't, like the powerful Doctor Doom. It was a cheesy villain. And then we're not acknowledging the existence of the 2015 one. That doesn't exist. So for general audiences, they really don't know a lot about Doom as a character and how powerful he is, because when I went with a friend last year to the Fantastic Four, like, he also he thought like Doom was like a B villain that they were just like reinventing because RDJ's play. He's like, he was surprised that he's like more powerful than Galactus. He's like, that Galactus like eats planets. Like, what's that? I was like, yes, he does, but there is this rich history with Doom, and like they definitely highlighted in the trailer here. But that is while I'm excited for the movie, that's my biggest reservation is they have done no build up to him whatsoever. Because Thanos, yes, like he did not have his own movie before Infinity War, but there was the momentum built up with all the post-credit scenes, all the lore surrounding the Infinity Stones. Like, they were building up to this character, and then all of the storylines with all the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, all of that had been set up and established, and so you could have the movie with Infinity War from Thanos' perspective and have him as the protagonist, and it worked. And in that movie, you got exactly, you understood exactly who he was, what his motivation was, what he wanted to do. That's my biggest thing with, like, because, I've still seen every MCU movie in theaters, but I cannot deny that it's been rocky the past few years, and there's been a lot of, like, back and forth, and, and characters I love, like Shang-Chi, I love that movie, has not shown up since then, and, he's in this one, but, for how much, I don't know, because it's going to be a massive juggling act to both introduce an iconic villain and, have all of these characters play out, introduce the concept of incursions and the multiverse imploding. So yeah, that's my biggest concern. I did like the trailer, but sorry, I'll shut up for a sec. Evan, what are your thoughts on both like Doomsday in general and what you thought of the trailer?
You guys said what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's great trailer. I can't wait for Doom. He's crazy powerful, and that's a great visual of just him stopping the with the 2 fingers. Great visual. Instantly tells the audience, boom, he's a menace. He is a problem. But then again, I also feel the same way as you, Kevin. Like, this is coming out of nowhere, pretty much. And 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 but I also I I don't know how to say this, but it's also a reality that we live in because of the shift from Kang.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
they do some kind of a retconning that, oh, we were planning this the whole time, and that kind of works, then okay, cool. But I'm going to keep my judgment until I see the film, because I am crazy excited for this film. But I'm not gonna lie, I felt when I saw it, I was like, yeah, cool. But it's still the same thing. It still feels like Avengers, and I'm like,
Oh.
I think I have superhero fatigue, and then what, and then what gave me hope was, nah, dude, I can't wait for a brand new day. Like that is, I'm more, I am more excited about that than what I am for Doomsday, if I'm honest. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm stoked for Spider-Man. I mean, because that's
yeah.
one where that storyline has been established. Like they built into with a character. And granted, I know I was just saying like, oh, this doesn't compare to how well done the Infinity Saga was. That said, the Infinity Saga was not nearly as meticulously planned out as people think.
True.
Like it
True.
was, they were making it up as they went along as well. Like they were constantly shifting plans. Like I know I mentioned before the YouTube channel Breakdowns and Blockbusters, but the host there goes through all of those, like what almost was the Avengers, what almost was Civil War, etc. Like they were constantly rewriting as well, and they made it work. But I think it is a little different because exactly with the Kang thing and shifting. Like I think it was always in the plan to bring Doom in, but I don't think they anticipated to do it first. Like they wanted to do Kang, and then they had to pivot away from that. And so I think Doom would have been in like Secret Wars, but not right away. And my this is just my I know I don't write for Marvel, and they're Kevin Feige's not listening to this podcast, but maybe we can hope. But my like it just I think of how cool it would have been if they had done an entire Doom movie before this that was an adaptation of the Ed Brubaker books of Doom miniseries, which is one of the best like village and origin story comics of all time. And you could have it entirely from his perspective. You don't even need the Fantastic Four are hardly in it. Like that would have been a great story, and then do the big Avengers crossover with Doom to build him up. But that said, they do a great job in this trailer of establishing, no, this is, like you said, a terrifying villain. Not only that, but it's when they're talking about the threats here and Thor saying like we need a miracle, I think he's referring more to the fact that incursions are coming and the multiverse is about to die. Doom is more an instigator and he's going to try to like take over. So I think there are multiple threats here. Jill also, okay, because I'm wearing my X-Men shirt, like, that was my biggest, like, delight here, seeing them all in their glorious 90s costumes, but, yes, oh my gosh, so good, because, were you, like, were there, other than Doom, like, were there any particular characters or teams here you were just like, yes, like, I mean, so excited to see?
Well, I think everyone knows in the group that I'm like a big Magneto fan. So seeing him and Professor X, like old, those are my favorite characters. I'm very excited to see what happens there. Although I need timeline. I'm going to need someone to lay it out for me because I thought Professor X was dead in this world. We grieved for him and Logan.
Same here.
It's a little confusing for me. That's okay.
I dropped the trailer in a work channel the other day, and my boss was like, I haven't watched all the X-Men movies, do I need to catch it? And I just said, I was like, okay, I love the X-Men movies, but it is the most confusing, convoluted timeline in, I think, any movie franchise, like, maybe even more so than Terminator. So, I don't even know if you need to if you try to wrap your mind around the logic of, like, Xavier dies but he comes back, but then he's like, your head's gonna hurt. Like, I've tried before too. there's kind of like
Just
even with
put it away.
yes, I mean because they like that was the whole point of Days of Future Past was they were trying to like bridge everything, like create a new timeline there, but then they still had inconsistencies with going forward with Apocalypse and then with Logan. Like none of it lines up. I just kind of almost view them as individual, and there are theories too that the reason incursions are happening in the multiverses, like colliding here, is that the X-Men started it all, and like their Earth was the original one, and they've done the most time travel and screwing with the timeline, and that's going to be the instigator. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take
Right.
that. And then
Right.
notably absent were Wolverine and Storm. And they have both been super cryptic when people ask them in interviews if they're going to be in this movie. So I do kind of still think we're going to get those X-Men that show up, even if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not a big part. And that makes me
I mean,
excited.
Barry coming back will be
That would be awesome.
Perfect.
That would be
Wild,
amazing.
right?
Yeah. Because Wolverine, I definitely think he's going to be in Secret
Which
Wars.
one?
I don't like. Yeah, I think Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman, like Old Man Logan. Like, I mean, there. I mean, I do have mixed feelings. Like, I think they eventually need to retire Hugh for the rebooted X-Men. Like, which is the other thing. They're supposed to announce the new X-Men cast this weekend at Comic-Con for the Mutant Saga. But like. I don't even know if they'll announce Wolverine there because I think they do need time with that. Like, I love Wolverine, but they need time to focus on some of the other mutants. But I think we'll still have him in Secret Wars and then maybe be around as like Old Man Logan. But they need a new one, post Secret Wars, just to like pass on the mantle. I love Hugh Jackman, but he can't do it forever.
And something tells me, I don't have any knowledge, but I have a vibe that they're gonna spin something. They're gonna surprise us all, and Miles Morales is gonna show up.
I mean, that would be awesome. Like, I mean, he
I just have a
was.
Who do you
feeling.
think it's going to be? Who would be a
Right?
live-action Miles Morales?
Right?
I know. I thought about that
Right?
too. Like,
I
well,
think-
because they talked about Lucas from Stranger Things, but I think he would be better as Static Shock. I want that's who I like.
shoot.
I
Heck
want
yeah.
DC to make Static as soon as possible. That's one they're just sitting on, and he would be perfect for that. So like I kind of Miles. Honestly, I think they should go with the lesser known. Like, I mean, maybe like someone from TV or something like that. But I kind of want it to be not an instantly recognizable name. But
Sure,
I
someone
could
new.
see him make it. Yeah, I could. I think Miles. If not
That
in
would be
Doomsday,
awesome.
definitely in Secret Wars. I just think, I mean,
Sure.
because they're also saying Secret Wars is going to focus heavily on
Sure.
the young Avengers and those characters.
Yeah.
So like, I think that would be the perfect opportunity there. I mean, because this one is going to be a massacre. We're going to see a lot die and universes implode. So we'll see who's left and also who makes it to Battle World. But yeah. Again, well, then I was having this conversation too at my Star Wars RPG last night, which I know, I mean, like the one nerdy thing to the next, but we were talking about this and we were just like, I'm like, this is my biggest concern about this movie, as excited as I am for it, I'm like, how do you convey concepts like this to quote unquote, like citizens out there who don't live and breathe this stuff like we do? Like, I mean, like, I just and you have to make. I mean, and this movie especially, it needs to make $1 billion to like for Marvel to go forward. Like they've put too much money into it. They have like every actor in the MCU who's ever been there, who is like ridiculous salaries and everything. They brought RDJ back and all the Avengers. Like it needs to do extremely well. And that's I mean, I know it did. It already made a huge amount in pre-ticket sales. I got my tickets the other night too. But like opening weekend, beyond opening weekend, it has to really sustain itself after that. So that's my only thing is like for people who are more casual moviegoers or casual fans of the MCU, will they really respond well to it? That's I think that's the biggest question mark right now.
Yeah.
But. That's it.
So
fun
Kevin,
trailer though. Yeah.
Kevin, so hopefully as a cool segue, what Cyclops do you mean in your description there?
Yes. Okay. So, excellent segue, I think, because that
Yeah.
actually goes right into our next topic. So, no,
Yeah.
I did not play Scott Summers in any
Okay.
play.
Oh,
I would have been kind of cool. I actually, but Beast is my favorite X Men anyway, so I
Fair
would
enough.
rather. But no. So I actually the night before Odyssey came out, Joe commented on my story here. I put on my Instagram story that I was in a play of the Odyssey in high school,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was the voice of the Cyclops, Polyphemus.
Cool.
Which that said, I should know the text and everything going like better going into this, but it had been a long time since I'd done that play and since I've read. But nonetheless, that goes perfectly into our next topic. So yes, let's get into it. The big Christopher Nolan epic adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey. Wow. I mean, when I saw it the first, so I have seen it twice. When I saw it the first time, friends and I were coming out of it, and we were just like, I mean, what do we say? We were like, oh yeah, that was good. Like, I mean, like, of course, we were just like, I mean, we were just breathless in terms of how. What a spectacle it was! What an experience! I want to hear from y'all. Okay, so I have a two-part question to start this conversation. So, talk about what was your background with Homer's The Odyssey. Like I said, with mine, it was the play, and I had read in high school the year before that. But what was your background with that? And also, what's kind of your background with Christopher Nolan films in general? Are you a fan? Because as big a director is, I know that, there are still critics of his too, people who aren't as big super fans, and that's totally valid. So Jill, we'll start with you. Like, what was your background with the Odyssey, and then with Christopher Nolan?
so I read the Odyssey fairly recently because my daughter was reading it in high school, and I try to just like, if they're interested
Perfect
in
timing.
something, I'll get interested too. So I read it, I guess, 3 years ago, and then she went on a whole Greek mythology
Nice.
phase of her life, and so she's read all of these. They're kind of like, I don't know, they're like romance fantasy
Oh,
books. Circe has
Nice.
been her favorite one. There's Achilles. Anyway, she loves them
cool.
and fills me in. But Odyssey is the only one I read with her. And um, I enjoy good Greek mythology. I think that's what the Avengers are, after all,
Yeah.
is our
Yep.
modern day
Absolutely.
mythology. And I am not a huge Christopher Nolan
Mm-hmm.
stan. Like, I enjoy his
Mm-hmm.
movies. Tenet is one of my favorites, but I think, Kevin, I've told you before, I've seen it 3 times, and every time I'm more confused than the last. It's just very hard to
Same.
follow, but I enjoy that. I don't mind getting
Yep.
lost in something. And I have some critiques of Nolan. Overall, though, he's a fantastic movie maker. And when I saw that you had seen this movie, Kevin, and enjoyed it so much and called it a masterpiece, I was like, that's it. I got to go. So I went and took myself to the movies all alone. And I was so happy I did. I loved it. Loved it.
Did you get to see it on IMAX?
Nope. But my husband
Got it.
wants to see it. And so we'll go back and
So
watch it
yeah,
in IMAX. Yeah.
that's what I did the second time. The first one, it was still a big screen, but it was like the premium format at
Yeah.
my theater, and then I saw it on my. Oh, and I forgot to mention with Doomsday. We forgot to mention that you can see Avengers Doomsday in Infinity Vision, which is definitely not made up
I
by
forgot about
Disney
that. I
and
was like,
Marvel as marketing employ.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if you know, but yeah, for those of you who don't know, that sorry, quick aside, but for those of you who don't know, that is because Dune Part 3 is coming out the same day, same weekend, and they got all the IMAX screens. So in order to have like some kind of marketing prestige there, like Disney just made up a new type of theater basically experience and called it Infinity Vision, which again I think that's BS. But they could have just shared the IMAX screens or had them come out on separate weeks. That said, yeah, but yeah, Odyssey I did so I saw it in like not IMAX the first night, and then I went with my dad on Sunday and saw it on IMAX there, and oh, what a yeah, you're in for a treat there, even having seen the movie
Okay.
already. Yeah, but yeah, Evan, what about you? So background with the Odyssey text, and then with Nolan.
So, yeah, I with the text of the Odyssey, I read it in middle school, I think, but I didn't read it. If you know what I mean, like
Right.
I couldn't comprehend it. So I pretended I did to a pass, and that's how I left it pretty
As one
much.
does.
Yeah, so I didn't get it. However, the A Wishbone episode of the Odyssey lived with me forever. And watching this film, I had so many memories, fond memories of they just flooded, and I was like, I remember like my old house and the floor that was so weird and kind of broken and just I like it kind of overwhelmed me for a second. I'm like, wow, I completely just so so I have that experience and and like a lot of people, to be honest, if I'm honest, kind of like the Bible, I thought this stuff happened in real life. Like I
Hmm.
thought I thought this was literal truth. So I had to break away from that and have a little bit of a deconstruction
Was it
of
the
sorts.
Cyclops that you were
I
like,
could
wait, maybe this isn't real?
there's a whole episode here with this. Like I can get into it, but we don't got the time.
Okay.
So yeah, no, trust me. Like I'm very gullible. I'm very gullible. If I
No,
see
but I don't think
something, I
that's.
believe it.
I don't think that's
There
gullible
are
though. Like that's the fascinating thing about mythology and like, Homer,
Yeah,
like the power. Sorry, Joe.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I
No,
was
no,
just
no.
going to say there are grown men on the internet right now arguing with um,
Yes.
professors, PhDs in Greek mythology saying Helen of Troy was real and how dare she be
Yes.
played by a black woman?
Yep.
Like, well, she hatched out of an egg
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Oh,
that's
and
not real. And her dad was a swan.
And so that is
yeah.
what I'm talking about. I used to be that person. And then I
Sure.
realized I was like, uh oh, hold on. So I went back and I did my legwork. And
Good.
hey, I would love to read it again and
Yeah.
see how my adult brain will process it
Yeah.
because yeah, when I was like, oh, hold up, like the cognitive dissonance was massive. I was like, wait a minute. So
That's cool.
so yeah,
But
so yeah.
But see, that's fascinating. Oh, and my comment was not to justify. Oh gosh, those people that are like or is this like
I have
trolls
empathy
online that
for him,
are
but
like
it's
it's
so much.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it's way overboard. Like
I
guys,
well, I
like
also don't know. Oh no, Evan, I
oof.
know you posted earlier, but I saw that Joe. I don't know if you saw this, but like Elon Musk is apparently going to make an AI
I'm sorry. Yeah.
adaptation of the Odyssey by end of year that is quote unquote more accurate to
Historically
what I
accurate.
historically accurate. Yep, to a
I wish I
text
had more
with
empathy because
cycle. I
that
know.
just
Yeah, yeah.
sent me.
I
That
know.
sent me. I was
Right.
just
Yeah,
like, oh my
Right.
yeah.
goodness.
Well, I think one of the things too that people don't like often discuss is that the Odyssey was in existence for probably 600 years before it was ever even written down. The way
That
that
makes sense.
history
Yeah.
was
Yes.
told, even the
Yeah.
books of the Bible, the way history was told
100%.
was oral history,
100%.
and it's meant to be interpreted by the culture that's telling the story. Like, of course, narrative is going to shift. The words, the language people use is going to shift as it moves into a different culture. It's actually one of the
Yes.
coolest parts about being a Christian. Like my big awakening, or I guess like I don't really use the word deconstruction, but that's the simplest way to say it. The beginning of my
Right.
Sure.
Right.
deconstruction
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
was talking to Christians in South America and first
Mm.
like hearing how they read the Bible from the bottom up, and being an American that has always read the Bible from the top down,
Mm-hmm.
like blew my
I.
mind. And that's
Great
Yeah.
that,
description. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
these
Wow.
great historical pieces like the Iliad and the Odyssey and, Norse mythology and Christian mythology. Some people will be upset that I use that phrase, but I do.
Boom.
But
It's meant to
yeah,
be
yeah.
interpreted by the culture that's interpreting it.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
it's
Bingo.
silly to
Bango.
like historically accurate. Come on.
Preach.
One example of this, which I learned in my research, as you pointed out, I could be wrong because I just been doing this since I heard of the film, but that fact that she was born from an egg, that was from a version of a that came from an interpretation that came a lot later, which I
Okay.
was like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
Very cool.
that's very cool, right? Like, I love that. That is how these stories they will survive because they inspire the creativity after they are gone. I
Yeah.
think that's just so beautiful, and that goes into the experience that I had because me and my wife, we were like, should we take my son? He is 8. He seems kind of interested, but I don't want him to be bored, and I don't want him to have a. He wasn't the violence and stuff like that. We were just kind of worried that it was going to go over his head and he wasn't going to have a good time. But no, like I'm tearing up thinking about it now. He freaking loved this movie.
Oh, that's so cool.
He laughed when he was supposed to laugh. He hated the Josh Pattinson character. He hated him with all his
Good.
guts. I
Rob
was just
Actor,
like,
yeah.
yes, he gets it. He get it. His attention was held the whole time. Like all 3 hours, he was just glued and like, yeah, oh, and he had questions, and we had to go back and be like, okay, this is called a flashback and this and that, but. I was just, oh, so glad that he
That's so
got
cool.
it, that he got it.
That's so cool. And that's a long time to hold an 8-year-old's attention.
Right? I was just like, here we go. Here we go.
Was he
And
terrified? Or was he terrified during the CRC scene? Because that's one of my favorite scenes in the
100%.
movie. And also Samantha Morton, absolutely
100%.
brilliant. But I
I
love
was
how that
too.
was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
that was
I
scary.
guess I'm watching this now.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah. But to answer your Christopher Nolan one, and that kind of goes into it, he's a modern day, I don't know how to call him. He's just one of the greats. He's just one of the greats. I blame Star Wars for. I blame Star Wars and George Lucas for like, just kind of putting words to my fandom is.
Yeah.
And then I blame Memento and Christopher Nolan in kind of funneling that kind of into a trade that I could go and become a filmmaker. And yeah, so that Memento is a huge part in my life. It's one of those kind of like BC and AD kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's similar for me. I mean, I think Nolan had a profound impact on me as a storyteller. Like, seeing, of course, the Dark Knight trilogy, at the perfect time when I was a kid and in high school, and then also The Prestige had, a huge impact on me. And it's still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I mean,
That is
no
one of the
doubt
best films ever made.
It really is. Oh my gosh! It's I was rewatching it recently, and it still holds up. Like not just like how the twist is done, but the performances, the energy, the execution. It's just one. So I've always been a huge Nolan fan. That said, like as I've gotten older, I've come to understand some of the criticisms as well. Like particularly his characterization of women characters has not always been stellar. He usually casts amazing actresses, but I saw a meme the other day where it was like going through Nolan's filmography. It was like the wife is dead, the wife is missing, the wife is gone. And kind of like, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. But and I do want to talk about that too. How, because I mean, this movie, not only is it, obviously an epic portrayal of an epic adaptation of the text, and like we were talking about the ways that Homer has influenced comic books and modern mythology, all of that is there, but I think this is also an excellent depiction of PTSD, and it really zeroes in on the emotional impact of the character, and it's not portraying Odysseus as an unflinching hero in any way. It's a really complex portrayal there. But I do want to talk about how it portrays some of the other characters as well and what we thought of that. We can get into that first because who were y'all some of your favorite characters? I mean, other than Odysseus, and even ones you hated, Pattinson's. I hated the character, but he was brilliant in the role. The ones that were really stood out to me were John Leguizamo was incredible as and his character I feel like kind of emulated Homer in a way, like he was kind of like the storyteller, the back guy, the kind of all knowing one. He was incredible. I love Samantha Morton in the role of Circe and how that entire scene done as this like mini body horror film was brilliant. But Jill, what did you think of the portrayal of some of the other characters, like Penelope, Telemachus, any of the myriad of supporting characters?
Yeah, I think give Anne Hathaway the Oscar right now. She got snubbed for Les Mis, so just give it to her for this, and that's fine.
Yep.
Brilliant portrayal. I think that character was written really well, and I just think she knocked it out of the park. I loved Penelope. The surprise one for me was Himesh Patel. I loved excellent. His character, and he was excellent.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Chime in, Evan.
I didn't know that he was the main character in that movie Yesterday. Do you know that film?
I love that movie.
That was him. Mm-hmm. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
great, great pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. And I really liked the Travis Scott character. Not that it stood out that was such a great acting performance, but I think the brilliance of having the storyteller, because as I said, this is a story that's meant to be orated, and having a popular rapper and then kind of tying in that rap takes its history from this oral storytelling tradition that is African, specifically West African. It just was really cool. I loved his character and seeing him there. And that it opened with him. Yeah. It's brilliant. I mean, it opened and it closed with him because he did the closing credit song too. And then Agamemnon, I didn't see, you didn't see his face hardly at all, but that was the most badass costume I have ever seen. From the back with the spine, coming down off of the helmet. That was so cool. That actually is the visual that's going to stick with me the most.
Benny Safdie in that role, that was that was pretty great. Evan, I loved your meme there of the I knew who this was before he even took off the mask and had the Squidward meme there.
Exactly.
Yep. I was thinking too. It's rise to the presence of Dark Helmet. As soon as he comes out,
that too.
It was just great. Yeah. But all jokes aside, that was terrifying portrayal, and also the way they did the Hades scene when him and Sinon and the others resurrect and give this warning
climb
to
out
Odysseus.
of that dark sand.
Oh my gosh,
that was
brilliant.
So cool. Mm-hmm.
And with Lupita Nyong'o not just playing Helen, but also her twin sister, and that when they do the flashback image of how Agamemnon is killed, that was, again, she, even though she doesn't have a ton of screen time, she, the way she did that performance there when she betrays Agamemnon and kills him, I was jumping out of my seat. It was amazing.
There's a whole spin-off series right there. That's
absolutely.
I could watch a show with that. I could watch a show.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And that brings me to John Bernthal.
My guy.
I love how he was just John Bernthal, and that still kind of worked.
I know.
I was
It
just
worked.
I know.
Okay. I know.
Cool.
I know.
Yeah, he's the Punisher in everything, and that's fine.
Yes. Yeah, I was okay, cool.
My picture of meeting him is up on my wall there, but yes, I will go to bat for Bernthal every chance I get because he was also the nicest guy when I met him. So yeah, my friend saw as soon as he came on screen, he was like, "Oh, that's your boy there." I was like, "Yep, yeah."
Yep.
He's a guy, but yeah, but that brings an interesting point too because there was definitely a fusion of, I would say, modern sensibilities and classic, very much in the performances. So I'm thinking. Anne Hathaway and Robert Pattinson, for instance, you could have had them in like a classic Shakespeare play in this. Like they had that kind of like, even their dialogue was a little more like classic, histrionic. Like it was great there. And then something like Bernthal's felt more modern, but it didn't feel like it was in another movie at the same time. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
it was a perfect like blend of all these styles and influences, and it all worked. You know,
Yeah.
Yep. It was not out of place.
no,
Holland
no,
was great. Tom
yeah, yeah.
Holland, he was.
So good.
I thought he was just gonna be like, oh yeah, he's just there like to bring in
Yeah.
the younger kids, but no.
Right.
Oh man, the scene with the dog
Oh,
where
yeah.
he finally dies at the end. I'm never gonna forget that scene. I'm never that scene is so the. I can't put to words, but the way they have the restraint, because
Yeah.
if he went in, guns blazing, so to speak, like he did with the war and the Trojan horse, he probably wouldn't have he probably wouldn't be the king, or his son wouldn't be there. So he had to restrain himself, and he learned the lesson to not do that Trojan horse again. And to me, a film is its ending, but to me, that is right there was when half the movie, like in Oppenheimer, there's a clear division of before the bomb and after the bomb, and here was just before the war's over and after the war's over, and then the two like the two kind of lessons that the protagonist was trying to learn, and I just thought it was so freaking effective.
It was. And I love that you use the word restraint, because
Yeah.
it's also to how do you say Tom Holland's character? Telemachus?
Telemachus.
Telemachus. I always
yeah.
I always get those two. Telemachus.
No, you're
His
good.
restraint. Because
Yeah.
the second the dog died,
see
he
it
knew
in his eyes.
that's his dad, but he wasn't going to blow the cover because he had just spent that time with John Bernthal, and he said, if you do see your dad, tell him come in the back door. Don't come in like Agamemnon, because that doesn't work out. I just it was so beautiful. That restraint, it's the perfect word, and played so well on both of their faces.
Perfect. And the first thing that I thought of when I was experiencing that scene, this is the lesson that they were trying to teach with Luke Skywalker. That's kind of what I was thinking. With the grumpy old Luke Skywalker, I think they were trying to, in their own way, they were trying to teach that a restraint,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which
I
was
think there's a lot
never
of
Luke's
comparison,
strong
'cause-
suit.
Right. It's a valid comparison because again, I just love the and especially the nonlinear storytelling, which Nolan is famous for, and of course that Homer is, and it worked so well here to really show the complexity of Odysseus from again, not this perfect hero. There was the image that Telemachus had of his father because he never knew him. And then there is like the man himself and all his flaws and all his strengths and the way he wrestles with that. And I love what it does at the. I mean that speech he gives to Penelope at the end was so powerful because he's saying, no, I can never really condone what I did, and I know we committed basically genocide in the name of our kingdom and whatnot, our own glory. I can never let go of that, but I have to move on at some point and recognize that how flawed I am. I mean that's a really just watered down version of what he actually says,
Yeah,
but it's that scene is just gonna stick with me for so long, and I love that they don't overshadow on that and they linger on that image of the Trojan horse and not as a symbol of victory, but as a symbol
Yes.
of oh, we gave up
Betrayal.
our souls here.
Like,
Betrayal.
he
and,
was
yeah.
the one that brought the death of an age, and there's
Yeah.
some
Yep.
weight to that. There's a weight
Yeah.
to that. That how, as a human, do you process that? Yeah, sure, this is a fictional character, but yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy.
Hmm. And that's what, and this is like a kind of a Nolan. It's what every woman in the film is trying to get him to realize
Right.
Oof.
all along his journey, is to like actually come to
Oh,
face that and admit
shoot.
it. And then he does
You're
admit it at the end.
right. You're
Yeah,
right.
every woman is pointing to
Charlize
truth, and
Theron
he's
is clearly doing it. Yes.
Mhm.
Whoa.
And that
Yeah.
was, it makes it even
That's
more fitting that,
good.
yeah,
Hell
mic drop right there. I'd have
Yeah.
to, but it
Love
does
that.
fit. Like that's perfect. Why Zendaya's Athena was the only goddess actually depicted. And like
And the way
that
she was.
tied in perfectly there. Yeah. Like very few words, but just this lingering presence, a reminder of what he did and destroyed all that was sacred.
hmm And she does it in human form and not as a, this is what you did, but,
Yeah.
like bits and pieces that brings him to it himself. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I know we're just gushing over this, but this is like, we need another podcast to really dissect all the like myriad of themes in this movie, because I mean, yeah, it's 3 hours.
I
Like,
know.
there's so much to unpack, but needless to say, we
There
loved
is.
it. Yeah.
Can I give my one critique?
Yes, absolutely.
Not at all.
And
No
it's,
way.
I mean, I probably have more than one, but this is the biggest. Is I went to Greece 3 years ago. I had the time of my life, loved it. I have some friends that are Greek, and so we spent about 3 weeks there. And the Aegean Sea and the Ionian Sea are a color of blue that I didn't know existed until I went there. The contrast of the sand and the sea and the buildings, even the super ancient churches that were built by like the very first Christians, are so gorgeous and so colorful. And I felt that Christopher Nolan took all of that and turned it into The Dark Knight.
That's fair. Yeah,
The
that's fair.
cinematography
Yeah.
was beautiful, but that's
Mhm.
not Greece. Like Greece is so vibrant and beautiful,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it was 3,000 years ago too. And that
Yeah.
I didn't love that.
I'm sure
That's
that's
fair.
an IMAX
Yeah.
problem. Nah.
Yes.
But no, hey, my one critique
Now
is
I
they
gotta
left
go.
out they left out the classic pun from the Cyclops scene. If you
Dude,
like the
yes.
yeah, which
Yes.
I quoted that line all the time when I did the play. But for those of you who don't know, when after Odysseus like blinds the Cyclops, and Cyclops asks who he is, he answers nobody. So that when the other Cyclops come to Polyphemus and they ask like who did this to you, he says nobody, nobody. And it's a brilliant pun there. They left out. I still loved what they did with the Cyclops. This portrayal of this sympathetic creature, not just a vicious monster. But yeah, and Nolan talked specifically about how he was influenced by Guillermo del Toro in that regard, and how he portrayed him, and worked with Bill Irwin, the actor. So I loved all that, but the pun is pretty classic. I do wish they had included that. But yeah, but still, I mean,
One critique that I had, and it's not a critique of the narrative, or it's kind of a critique about the marketing, and it started, and I blame the Force Awakens for this, but they said, oh, there's zero special effects in this, and I hate when they say that, because that is erasing the work of a whole industry of people.
yes.
And
Absolutely.
I just hate that we've gotten to a point where that's the case, and it's like you cannot make a modern day film without at least 1,000 scenes of CGI. Sure,
Yeah.
you can go film in the sea and you can film with a giant puppet, but that needs to be replaced with probably CGI and stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
That's fair.
That's all. I mean, I know Christopher Nolan is super gung ho about shooting on film. Well, in this case, like, on IMAX, and making everything practical. But that said, like I think CG and AI are two very different things. Like like
100%.
AI, like I know that's a whole other conversation, but no, CG is what
You're
it's
right.
like. Come on, it's led to some of the best movies ever in the last 20 years. So it should be respected. It can be overused and like a lot. There's actually a video recently about like why is like CG like look bad in a lot of movies today. That was actually on Breakdowns Blockbusters, so that's worth checking out.
Oh,
but
there are.
but nonetheless, I agree. Writing it off as like this whole, I have a problem with that too. So I agree. But
Cool.
all in all, well, I know we're wrapping up here. We'll definitely be discussing Odyssey more because there's way too much to discuss. Real quick before we go, anyone want to have a quick recommendation? Either you can, say Odyssey or something else. I'll shout out really quick in light of Doomsday. Read Books of Doom. That was the Ed Brubaker comic I mentioned earlier. That's the best Doctor Doom origin book out there. Jill, do you have any you want to shout out?
I'm definitely going to check that out. Let's keep the John Bernthal love going. And this is a little bit late, but Gary, which was a one-off episode,
That's right.
spin-off from The Bear. I think that's some of his best work. So I suggest that.
Excellent. Evan, what about you?
I would say go watch the Wishbone episode of this. That's a fun,
Yes.
fun, nostalgic trip if you grew up with that. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Jill, Evan, this has been fantastic. I know we could keep going on and on, but we got to be nice to Joshua, who is our wonderful editor, producer, and leader of the show. So we're going to bow out, but we will be discussing all this in more detail. There's plenty more to discuss on Doomsday, Odyssey, so stick around. Thank you all for joining us, and remember, we are all a chosen people, a geekdom of priests. Take care.
Bye.